right, everyone. So it's Friday night. I'm getting ready to go out. This is the look. But before I go out, I've got a pregame. And the only way I pregame is with an ice cold Bud Light. So good. Happy Friday.
Hi, Dylan. Just wanted to let you know that your friends from the cast of the Book of Mormon love and support you, are so proud of you. And for Anheuser-Busch, we are really proud of you for making an American superstar in your can. Love ya!
All right, guys, so we got to get into what seems to be our weekly update on Bud Light, right? Because things just continue to get worse and worse and worse for this brand. But hey, maybe Bud Light should be happy because like I showed you guys at the beginning of this video, Bud Light seems to have a new brand ambassador who's doing it voluntarily. Now, I'm not necessarily sure if this is good news for Bud Light, but I know one thing. They have a target audience, right? Their target audience is that they want to appeal to younger people, okay? And in order to do that, they felt they needed to embrace a far left gender agenda, right? That's what they did when they gave out the sponsorship that led to the most successful boycott in history. So who knows? Maybe they're low-key happy that you have some people that's a part of the LGBTQ community voluntarily coming out here and endorsing Bud Light and drinking Bud Light in response to the boycott, which is what's happening, okay? You do have some people that are coming out and supporting Bud Light and say, hey, we support you. However, that is few and far between, and it's definitely not making up for their sales because their sales continue to plunge, okay? So we have some new sales data from the first week of May that I want to talk about here. And not only do we have more bad news for Bud Light, we have bad news for transgender influencers in general, as reportedly, allegedly, they're having a hard time getting brand sponsorships due to the Bud Light boycott, and this is going into Pride Month, which means that this boycott is ultra successful and it is actually shaking the industry, okay? It's shaking a lot of these brands are now afraid to sponsor transgender influencers. And I want to talk about it. But first, let's read about these sales numbers that are declining for Bud Light because they're still hurting here. Let's read here. Bud Light suffered its fifth straight week of worsening sales drops since the Dylan Mulvaney controversy began, stoking doubts about whether the mega brand can recover as the crucial summer beer drinking season begins. Nationwide retail sales of Bud Light sales dropped 23.6% versus a year ago during the week ended May 6th, slightly worse than the 23.3% decline for the week ended April 29th, according to data from Bump Williams Consulting and NielsenIQ data. Sales of other Anheuser-Busch brands also continued to drop, albeit at a slower rate than the week before. Those include Budweiser down 9.7% versus an 11.4% drop a week earlier. Michelob Ultra down 2.9% versus 4.3%, and Natural Light down 2.5% versus 5.2% the previous week. Quote, this seems to be where the brand's weekly declines have started to settle, falling in that negative 20% range over the past few weeks, said Bump Williams, chief executive of the consultancy, said of Bud Light, quote, I wonder if this is going to be the floor. Well, let's hope not, right? Let's hope that this is not the floor, okay? Let's hope that this is something continued and sustained. Because like I told you guys, it's not just Bud Light that is getting some heat, and it's not just affecting Anheuser-Busch and their brands, it's also affecting other transgender influencers as well. So let's read here. Just 2 months ago, transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney was flying high with endorsements from Bud Light, Nike, and Maybelline, to name a few. Hot off their 365 days of girlhood journey on social media, they was also enjoying an elaborate musical event staged at the Rainbow Room in their honor. That was then, but now after the backlash against Bud Light's decision to partner with Mulvaney on social media and feature their face on beer cans, other trans influencers say they're feeling the heat as well. Some told the Post that at the time when they are usually in high demand, the period leading up to Pride Month in June, brand partnership offers are drying up. Rose Montana, who has 1 million followers on TikTok and Instagram, said they noticed a big drop in their number of deals that they've been offered. Prior to Pride Month last year, Montana, a Seattle University graduate who bills themselves as a content creator, trans advocate, model, and actress, was getting up to 100 brand partnerships thrown their way. Now, they said it's been reduced to a trickle of maybe 12 or so offers. Yeah, so again, this right here is bittersweet for me. And the reason why is because as a content creator, I really don't like seeing other content creators not get their money, right? Not, be able to, feed their families or whatever. And I don't care if they're trans or not, okay? I mean, I'm just saying if a company chooses to go that route, they just have to be prepared to suffer the consequences, okay? Because the left boycotts companies that they disagree with politically, and they don't give a damn about what happens to the livelihoods of the influences that the left boycott. So I guess it can go the other way around. I generally don't like seeing it, but this is where we're at in politics. Now, in this specific case, this specific influencer right here, I have an issue with. And I'm not going to go into details about why I have an issue with this person, but let's just say this person tried to affect my channel, okay, in a negative way. And I don't feel bad for this person in regards to them losing brand partnerships because they're anti-free speech. Yeah, so maybe under a different circumstance, I would be inclined to at least feel bad for this person. But no, I don't feel bad for this person because what comes around goes around, right? What comes around goes around. And that's all I'll say about that. So, again, back to Bud Light. Bud Light not only is facing a sales decline, they're also maybe facing a congressional investigation for this stunt that they pulled with Dylan Mulvaney. Take a look.
You've dealt with the border, you've dealt with the Durham report. Now I want you to deal with Bud Light. Quite a switch, I understand, but you're pushing for an investigation. What has you so worried about Bud Light?
Well, look, that's exactly right. I have to say, in the last month or so, I don't think I've seen a major company so alienate a major portion of their customer base. Just seem to so misunderstand who it is that drinks Bud Light. But I also am very concerned. So in the last few days, I joined with Senator Marsha Blackburn and sent a letter to the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, who is also the chairman of the Beer Institute. The Beer Institute is the industry regulatory body that regulates beer sales. And in particular, what our letter focused on is their marketing agreement with Dylan Mulvaney, aside from being foolish marketing, was also, I believe, clearly targeting children. And there are strict constraints on the beer industry not to market to children. Remember the whole Joe Camel thing? Well, here, Dylan Mulvaney on TikTok, on Instagram, has millions of children following. And not only that, you look at Dylan Mulvaney's entire pitch. There's a whole series Dylan Mulvaney's done of Days of Girlhood. There's another series where Dylan Mulvaney sings, "I am Eloise and I am 6 years old." There's another video that has 7.1 million views where Dylan Mulvaney goes shopping for Barbie dolls. Now all of that, those are not targeting adult drinkers. Those are targeting teenagers, or with Barbie dolls, even younger preteens, which is directly contrary to the rules governing the marketing of beer. And so we're calling on the Beer Institute to investigate the degree to which Anheuser-Busch made a business decision that they wanted to market to children because they thought they could earn profits from doing so.
Mr. Senator, you've covered it all. Congratulations, and thanks very much for being with us this morning. See you again soon, sir. Got it.
Thank you, Stuart.
All right.
Yeah, so what does Bud Light do in response to all this, right? What do they do? Instead of issuing an apology, a full-throated apology, no. They come out with camo cans, right? Camo cans, okay? And also Harley Davidson branded Budweiser cans. So a marketing gimmick, right? So they come out with a marketing gimmick simply to try to make people forget about the controversy. Again, this is how dumb they think people are. Again, they should have issued an apology a while back. Again, they're not necessarily coming out here and really choosing a side. They're still trying to stay neutral, Like I said in the past, I was like, bruh, when you start to go political, you got to choose a side. You can't go political, get backlash, and then say, well, no, we're neutral, right? That's not going to work. You're going to piss everybody off, which is exactly what's happening here. But first, let me read some of these comments here, right, from people who are responding to these camo cans. They said they need to issue a real apology and then do a run of cans with the apology printed on it. That's about the only thing that won't come across as pandering. Somebody said, apologize, my A. It's time for Anheuser-Busch to just go out of business like Bed Bath & Beyond. Yes, great idea. Print trans women are not women on the cans, and I may get a case or two for Memorial Day. Bud Light now stereotypes its drinkers as redneck hicks in an attempt to lure them back. Camo, really? Man, that's insulting as hell. They are clueless. Yeah, it is pandering, right? I mean, they're doing this right before Memorial Day, okay? And it's going to be the summer, and this is where, you know, a lot of people are drinking beer, right? We getting on boats, right? We having cookouts. We doing all types of stuff. Outdoor stuff. We need a cold beer. And for me, it won't be Bud Light. It won't be Bud Light Weiser. It won't be any Anheuser-Busch. It's going to be Yangling, right? It's going to be Yangling for me, okay? But it doesn't just stop there. It doesn't just stop there. Because like I told you guys before, if you don't choose a side, you end up getting burned by both sides. And that is what's happening to Bud Light, right? I guess you could say they're getting double penetrated here, right? As Anheuser-Busch is getting stripped of their LGBTQ rating for caving to the Dylan Mulvaney backlash. So, again, like I told you guys, conservatives see Anheuser-Busch not issuing an apology as them caving to the mob, right? Which is why the boycott is happening, okay? And why the sales are so bad. The left sees Bud Light caving to the right by not coming out here and giving a full-throated endorsement to their sponsorship. So, again, they're getting it from both ends here, right? So let's read about this. The nation's largest LGBTQ advocacy group is taking action against Anheuser-Busch over its handling of the conservative backlash to trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney, accusing the multinational beer company of caving to political pressure. In a May 9th letter shared exclusively with USA Today, the Human Rights Campaign informed the Bud Light maker that it has suspended its Corporate Equality Index score, a tool that scores companies on their policies for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer employees. Companies that receive a 100 score on the indexes for criteria, protections from workplace discrimination, inclusive benefits, inclusive culture inside and outside the workplace, and responsible citizenship receive a, quote, best places to work for LGBTQ plus equality seal of approval from the Human Rights Campaign. Anheuser-Busch, which had a score of 100, has 90 days to respond, or the organization will consider docking its score, the Human Rights Campaign told the company in the letter. Yeah, so what they want Anheuser-Busch to do is, again, to give a full-throated endorsement to Dylan Mulvaney, right? This is what they want, right? They're like, look, you're either with us or you're against us. And I told you guys, this is how it is in politics in 2023. And this is why a lot of companies should be looking at this and saying, no, we need to stay out of politics, period. Let's just stay out of politics, because once you get in, you got to pick a side. You can't go in on neutral, okay? If you're going to say, hey, you know, we're going to be with the left, with the radical gender agenda, you better be willing to stick with that. You better be willing to stick with it, okay? Anheuser-Busch did not respond to requests for comments on the Human Rights Campaign letter, but said it has an employee resource group that supports LGBTQ plus employees. Our ERGs are intended to be a safe space for those who identify within a given community and those who wish to be allies, the company said in an email. Well, that's standard for these companies, right? All these companies have that. Yeah, so again, they're getting double penetrated here, right? They're getting it from both ends. And things just continue to get worse and worse and worse for Bud Light. But hey, you know, they do have some people out here who are voluntarily, sponsoring Bud Light, okay, giving it their seal of approval. And that could be Bud Light's target audience, right? That is who they've been trying to reach. But unfortunately, those people aren't enough to make up for the core audience who has now abandoned the brand. Again, things just continue to get worse and worse and worse for this company. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.